Hey, I'm Julie Drake here with Shine with Julie, and I am very excited today to have with me Monique Jose, a special coach of mine and a fellow energy holistic healer. And a little bit about Monique. She has made health and healing part of her life for the last 20 plus years. She is a food codes practitioner, which we'll talk a little bit more about. But if you are somebody that has ever had a weight issue or questioned, why you can't lose weight, Monique is a great resource for you. She's fascinated with the subconscious mind and how to find answers so that her clients can be promoted to that optimal health and have the physical physique that they are looking for. So welcome, Monique. I'm sure that this is hitting a chord with several listeners already.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for having me on your show today. Yes, you nailed it. I love health and healing. It's been a passion of mine for so many years, and I've learned so many different modalities, or at least I've gone to different practitioners to learn so many different modalities, and I've really pulled it together and using it in my own practice right now. And it's just something that I just love so much. Thank you for having me on today so I can talk about it.
Sure, it's my pleasure because I really do think that this is something that, so many people think, there's so many ways to look at losing weight. And I know for years, for me, it was exercise more, eat less, eat less fat, and exercise more. And, I would do all those things. I would beat my head up against the wall doing all those things that everybody thought I should do.
Yeah.
But yet it was still like this. It was still a roller coaster. And not that I've made it to the end of my line yet. Yeah. However, I do see so much value in the work that you do. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But one thing I would love to know from you is, tell us about this journey. What brought you to the spot where you made this choice of going into holistic medicine? And then I want you to also share, what is emotion code and body code to you? Because we throw those terms around and I absolutely know what it means, but I'd love for you to share your take on that with our audience today.
Yeah, sure. So what led me to energy healing was really seeing my mom. She suffered from cancer. She's in remission. She's good. And my mother-in-law also suffered from cancer, but she did pass away. But watching both of them being so sick and suffering just tremendously, made me want to keep looking for more answers, even though I was already on this path of, holistic healing and natural health, natural remedies. I was already on that path, but seeing them be so sick, I was praying to God. I was like, okay, there's still something more that I need to learn. There's something else out there that I need to know about. And so within a couple of months of praying about this, I came across the documentary Emotion. And within just the first couple of minutes of watching this documentary, I said, this is it. This is what I've been praying for. And so basically, this leads right into the, the question, what is the emotion code and body code? And basically, over time, our bodies are creating energies and absorbing imbalances. We have energies from, our ancestors. So we have energies that are shared. And as time goes on and as life goes on, they accumulate. And, we have these symptoms that end up manifesting, whether it's insomnia or digestive issues, anxiety, depression, like you've talked about, excess weight that people are holding onto. It could even be the opposite end where people are underweight and just can't seem to keep weight on. But, in the energy healing, using the emotion code and body code, we can use the muscle testing to figure out which energies are causing a certain symptom. And then just like we like to say, peel back that onion and peel back all of those layers that are causing a particular symptom. And, there's so many things that we've been, struggling with for so many years. And so much of it is, started when were kids, very, very, very young. And these energies just continue to accumulate every time we go through something difficult, whether it's, stressful job situation, something stressful going on at home, but these energies just continue to accumulate. And, and they end up manifesting in all of these symptoms and these annoying symptoms that we want to get rid of.
Yes.
So we can use the emotion code and body code to get rid of those energies and really, really heal. And I just love it so much.
Yeah. So in the work that we've done together,
Mhm.
I have been totally shocked at some of what you've uncovered for me. And, it started me thinking about, my journey in life and some of the things, the emotional, stresses that you found were just days old from me. And it brought me to a spot where I remembered how sick I was as a baby and some of what my mind processed and how those emotions got literally stuck in my body and didn't even know what they were doing to
Right.
me, in terms of so much, in mindset and weight loss journey and different things that, as now in my 50s, it's like, holy cow,
Yeah.
we mean one day old. I was just blown away by, some of what we've worked on together even. So, have you always wanted to be your own boss, or how did that come about?
I think that's evolved over time. Had you asked me that question, in college, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'll just
Right.
work for a company. Oh, that's fine. But yeah, it's just something that's evolved over time. And, I think as we learn more and we mature, and then as you get energy healing and you have this clarity on your mission in life, then your mission is more clear. And so I've really just enjoyed this journey and being able to open up my own practice. And so I do have, hours in the evenings and on the weekends. I'm still working full time.
Okay. Forgot that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm really, really loving having my own practice, and I just, love working with my clients and seeing their results and their changes. So it's something that I just love it so much.
Now, we've often talked about this on the show is that, if you have something in your mind that you want to do, it's not that you have to go out there and quit your job and do that, head first and, just dive into the pool kind of thing. But I do have a question as I thought about this, because I always think of you as a practitioner. I forget that you. So in terms of that, do you have like an end date in mind, or something that you're thinking, a couple years down the road, I'd love to be able to do this full time, or what does that look like for you? Do you love what you do? Some people just love every part of what they do, so they do it all.
Yeah. I mean, that I'm kind of like, I'm leaving it in God's hands. I don't know, because there's so many times where, I'm picturing something and this is what is to happen. And then, God kind of like leads me on, actually, we're going to go this way. And I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of just trying not to be, too controlling and just kind of
Right.
see what happens. But the way things are right now, I absolutely love it. And just going to kind of see where, God takes me and see what
Yeah.
happens.
That's fantastic.
Mhm.
So now, how does this fit around your family? Because you're working full time, plus you
Mhm.
have this on the side. So,
Yeah.
what is that like? You have young kids,
Uh-huh. They're 8 and
younger
10.
kids, yeah. So, what does that look like for how you work this business and life around your family?
Yeah, so I have 3 days a week where I have, office hours for my practice. And I mean, I've been doing this for a while now, so they're really, really sweet. I mean, when I pick them up from school, they're like, "Do you have any sessions today, mommy?"
Nice.
So I mean, they're really, very, very supportive, and they're very helpful. They're 8 and 10. They're about to
Right.
be 9 and 11. So they're getting to be extremely helpful around the house with, dishes and putting groceries away. So it's a big team effort over here. They know how important it is, and they love energy healing too. They love it. So
raise them right, Monique.
What's that?
I said, raise them right.
Yeah. So they're really enjoying it, and they know how powerful it is. So they're really, really sweet and supportive.
That's fantastic. So do you have like an incentive system for them to help you out, or are they at that sweet age where they still like helping without much incentive?
Well, the incentives are more based around their good grades in school. But I mean, there are sometimes if they do some extra chores around the house, they'll get a couple, $5 or something like that, or a trip to the ice cream shop or something like that. So
very cool. So now tell me more about what it means to be a food codes practitioner.
Sure. So one of my absolute favorite books is The Food Codes by Lana Nelson. And so, in that book, she talks about, muscle testing foods, like how beneficial foods are for you. And I love the scale that she teaches in the book. It's testing foods on a scale of 1 to 10. So for people who might be, familiar with muscle testing, a lot of times we just start off with like asking yes and no questions. But to me, I love testing something on a scale of 1 to 10 because it gives you so much more information than just yes or no. Right. So just say, for instance, corn. If I wanted to test how beneficial corn was for me, I would test, how beneficial is corn for me, and I'll just show a little example. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's a 10 out of 10.
And how are you doing that? Because the audience can't see you.
Sure. Okay. So there's lots of different ways you can muscle test, and I haven't just used the edge of my desk. And so we'll just say the edge of my desk. Here we go. So I'll say it's so if it's weak. It's weak, then that's something, that would be like a no. A yes answer is when my body is strong. Okay. So how beneficial is corn for me? And I'll just say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then, if I go to 11, my subconscious knows I'm testing on a scale of 1 to 10. Right. So corn is a 10 out of 10 for me. And that actually was a food that I used to be allergic to. I would go to a holistic chiropractor, and he discovered that I was allergic to corn. And then I remember my grandmother talking about her being allergic to corn when, she was younger. And so I was like, oh, okay. But I've been able to heal my corn allergy using energy healing. But, I love knowing how beneficial something is for me, like on a scale. So that's something that I learned using the food codes, or reading the Food Codes book by Lana Nelson. So you can do that on any food. So anything that is in an 8, 9, or 10 range is something that's very beneficial for you. Anything between a 4 and a 7 is neutral. Anything 4 and below is, negative. It makes you very weak. So you definitely want to stay away from any foods like that. So, and basically that's what it comes down to, is testing foods. How good are they for you, or how weak? Because this is something I just love reiterating, and this goes for everything, is that, just because corn is good for me doesn't mean corn, is good for you. And that goes for all foods. And I mean, that goes for just about, everything. We're all different. Our energy, we all have a unique energy. And so, just like corn used to not be good for my body, now it is. And so, I just love being able to use the healing and I used to also be allergic to nightshades. I'm no longer allergic to nightshades. That's awesome. It's something that's extremely powerful and can be, just healing in so many ways.
That gives me so much hope for my coconut allergy, because I really... Yes. I miss coconut. Not like coconut flakes, but I love cooking with coconut oil. Yeah. There's coconut in so many products.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a goal of mine. And people tend to look at me funny when I say I'm working on not being allergic to it.
Yeah.
They're like, excuse me.
Yeah.
So yes, see, there's hope at the end of my tunnel. If I'm
Yeah.
just
I
gonna
mean, there's
I can
just Oh, sorry. I mean, there's energies that are in our body that are making it very difficult for us to process these particular foods. And
Mhm.
once you get those release those energies, then your body can process those foods
Yeah,
much easier, and your body can actually absorb the nutrition and utilize it, the way that your body needs. So there is
right.
hope.
Now, you said a mouthful right there because I think so many times, people are eating right, they think they're doing good for their bodies, but yet inside there's something preventing those nutrients from really absorbing. So that's
Yeah.
part of what you look at as well.
Yeah.
You've developed a very specific system around the ideal physique and optimal health
Yeah.
that takes a look at things other than, foods. So
Right.
give me an example of something that comes up pretty often for your clients that you work through.
Yeah, for sure. So, so many people, if they're trying to lose weight, they really focus all their energy on food and exercise. And yes, that is an important piece. But so many times when I get new clients, I like to do this big evaluation at the very beginning. And, I'm testing how, this is all done with muscle testing. I connect to the subconscious of the client. Your subconscious has everything. It's a big data bank, big computer that has all the information, about your body stored there. And so um, I can test, how much of your excess weight, is attributable to anything that you have consumed by mouth. And I like saying anything consumed by mouth because I want to include medications, anything over
Right.
the counter, any supplements, and of course, all the food and the drink.
Mhm.
And, you know, there's so many times where it might be anywhere from 5 to 10% of what's causing, um, somebody to hold on to excess weight. The biggest number I've seen is probably like 27% due to food. And
Okay.
so just think about it. There's like
Yeah.
over 70% that has, you know, over 70% of the excess weight has nothing to do with food.
Right.
So that is just, it really gives the clients so much clarity. I'm like, okay, you know, so for that person who is 27%, like, yes, we can adjust, some of their eating habits.
Mhm.
But for most clients, it's probably less than 10%. So they can have this peace of mind. I'm like, okay, my food choices aren't that terrible.
Right.
And, how much of the excess weight is attributable to, exercising, activity level.
Mhm.
And that's generally not that high either.
Yeah.
I would say probably no more than 10% either. So for somebody who is really putting effort into taking good care of themselves, it's very likely that their food choices are good and their activity level is pretty decent too.
Right.
But in the system that I created, I have over 450 factors that, I muscle test. I'm like, okay, what's the biggest factor that needs to be healed today?
Right.
Um, so that the client can, or, what's the biggest block preventing them from losing weight and getting to their ideal physique? So there's over 450 factors. A lot of times, it has to do with safety, feeling safe, because when someone feels unsafe, then they kind of create this, this protection.
Right.
Um, it could be just a number of things, like I said, 450 items that I put on my list. Toxins are big. That's something that came up for me a lot. It was toxins, and inherited toxins was big for me. So that's something that has probably come up for me probably 7 or 8 times in different healing sessions. And I'm like, it's coming up again.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, it can be so many different things, just any type of abuse, just any situation where somebody feels unsafe. And, it could have happened. There could have been an incident where, you were in a bad situation for, say, 3 days, 3 days when you were like, 2 years old or 3 years old. And that could have been just so traumatizing for an individual that they're still feeling very, very unsafe and using the weight as a form of protection. So that is definitely, those are just a couple of different reasons why someone could be holding on weight, but really there's so many different, and of course, a combination of different events in somebody's life that just kind of making it, exponential.
Now, is this something that as you're talking to your client, do they know they're unsafe, or do they feel like they're unsafe? Or do you find that these are things, because you say that you're working with that person's subconscious mind. So are these things that, consciously they don't even realize? Maybe they thought they dealt with something. I'm just curious about that.
Yeah. A lot of times, they have, forgotten about a situation or think it's not really impacting them, as much as it is. And then occasionally, sometimes people are like, okay, well, yeah, I kind of understand like why that would cause me to hold on to weight. But most of the time, they don't understand how much of an impact it is having on their physical health, and just really being healthy. And especially if they're trying to, drop some weight, and how much it is impacting their goals.
Now, I would say that more people come to you wanting to remove weight, but you also mentioned that you also work with people that are too skinny, trying to maybe build muscle or put on weight, and they're having the opposite effect. So you work with both sides of the spectrum there.
Yeah, you're right. So most people are trying to lose weight, but there are people who are, trying to gain weight. And a lot of times in that situation is just kind of like I mentioned earlier, where, we have these energies that are kind of, in our digestive system, in our body, where our body cannot utilize the food that we're consuming. And so they're just not absorbing the food. So, I've helped one client who gained about, I think it was 12 or 14 pounds within about 3 or 4 weeks. And so, so he's doing really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it is both sides of the spectrum, but of course, more people are trying to lose weight.
Yeah. That's what I find out there. So one of the questions I love to ask my guests, because I am all about, one of the things for me is really, and my family might laugh at me sometimes, is maintaining peace. But I have really, tried to put a bubble, around myself. So how do you stay positive in such a negative, swirly world right now?
Well, my husband like jokes about me all the time. He's like, as soon as your alarm clock goes off, you like, do a cartwheel out of bed because you're so excited to be up, which is kind of true. I'm a morning person, and I mean, I am naturally I'm very positive, but still nonetheless, energy healing has drastically helped. I used to suffer a lot from like anxiety and nervousness. So the energy healing has drastically helped me there. But of course, meditation and prayer are always great. And I have, even if we go through something challenging, I still try to just focus on like, okay, there's something that I need to learn here. There's something that this situation is preparing me for. So I really try to focus on something positive that I can learn from a situation. But yeah, I mean, waking up every morning and meditating is huge for keeping, a peaceful day and keeping that, anxiety at bay, and of course the energy healing. So those are my little things that I like.
Okay. So what does that look like for a full-time worker, energy healer, mom? Do you meditate for a half hour? Do you meditate? How long is your morning routine typically?
So I wake up and I meditate for 10 minutes. So I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm usually out the door by like 6:30, 6:45. So my schedule allows for 10 minutes a day.
When I'm getting up, you're getting out. No. I like it. I love that. So one of the things that I forgot to do here that I want to do is let people know how to find you. So do you have like a favorite way for people to find you? And I'll put it up on the screen here. Is it a website or Facebook or?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram both are great. Yeah, and it's on Instagram, it's monique.jose. And my website for, if you want to check out the energy healing site, it's monarchholistichealing.as.me.
Did I do it right?
You got it. Yep.
Okay, very good. So I want to make sure that people know how to connect with you because you have a lot of knowledge to share. And, like you said, one of the things that's really empowering is somebody who has struggled and they're looking at their food, they're looking at all these plans, everybody's telling them what to eat, how much to exercise. And they are, at sometimes, as an entrepreneur, especially when you feel like, I want to clarify that you're not failing, when you feel like you're failing in one big area of your life, sometimes it creeps into every area of your life. And I think something as public facing as your body and how you think of your body can really derail your goals and dreams in all kinds of ways.
Sure.
So the fact that you focus on this and you give people back that understanding that it's not what they're doing or not doing, or, sometimes, like you said, it has nothing to do with what they're putting in their mouth, and it has nothing to do with the exercise they're doing. It is mental, it's emotional, it's things that they can't tangibly see or feel.
Right.
So I absolutely love that part of the work that you do, Monique, and I'm very glad that you came on here tonight today. We're recording this at night. I'm going to wink. But that you are on here with me and that people can get solutions that they're looking for. So with that, I'm going to say thank you. And, here's what I want our audience to know, because I think Monique would share this thought with you, is that, just like us, if there is a purpose that God has put in your heart, if there's that nudge, that idea that you just can't stop thinking about, there's a reason for that. And I encourage you. I took a bigger leap 19 years ago. I didn't stay in my job very long. I just leapt right into entrepreneurship. But many people do exactly what Monique does. And that is they keep their profession and they do something on the side. And they might keep that side thing forever, or they might dip their toe out there a little bit further. Just depends on what you want to do. But the journey is yours. But get out there and do that, because you're shortchanging yourself and you're shortchanging the people that you're supposed to serve if you keep it all bottled inside. So if you don't have belief in yourself, borrow our belief, because we believe in you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Monique.
Thank you so much, Julie. Bye.